Hi, this is Kelsey with Kelsey Lee and Things, and this is Flosstube episode 15. Hi, and how are ya? I'm back with another Flosstube. I'm hoping that this video gets uploaded and works just fine. My last video was a little bit of a disaster, but I count it as a win because I got content out and I got to show you my stitching and I got to express myself through Flosstube and all things stitching. So I guess I still call it a win, but live video is not for the faint of heart. I did one in like around New Year's, and I had nobody following me live, so it was just me. It was like now just me talking to the camera, like no big deal. This time around, I don't know if it was the time of day or what it was, I had a bunch of people like live with me that I don't think were following me. At least I hope not, because some of the comments I was getting were extremely inappropriate and I was nervous and I was trying to like ignore them and keep talking, and then I felt like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? Like so I'm really sorry about that last video. It was not my finest hour, but a few of you gave me some suggestions for apps to use, so then I can just edit all on my phone and I don't have to then try and upload it to my computer, and because that's where it all just falls apart. So we'll see how it goes, but let's just dive right in. I have a couple of finishes right here in front of me. I've just been patriotic stitching crazy and I'm not done. Like I want to do more. I just do. So in my last video, if you watched it, I was working on Peck, and I finished it. I absolutely love it. I did as much of the DMC called for that I had. If you've followed me long enough, you know that I just like to use what I have. I have a ton of DMC. A ton of it is unlabeled and unmarked because I got it from my grandma, and she just tore off all the labels and put them on bobbins, which is wonderful. But I probably have far more DMC than I realize. I just don't know the colors. So I try to match as much as I can. Someday, it is my dream to do a Plum Street sampler pattern with the called for Weeks Dye Works, because you just get this like variation and just, I don't know, it can't really be replicated. I tried my best here, so if you can kind of see, I just kind of rotated the colors around so that it looked like it was being variegated. If you look super close, I did blended threads, so I do like one dark, I do like coral, and then I do coral and this next color, and then I do red and this next color, you know, to kind of keep them blended, to kind of get the same effect that I was seeing on the cover photo. Like the chicken is 310 and I have it right here actually. It's 310 and 317 mixed together to kind of get like a heathered effect. I know that I'm not making this up. This is, you know, people do this, but this is my first time doing it like this. I did the same thing with the grass. I used, I have them right here because I reused some colors on my current WIP. So for the grass, I used 986 and 987. And I mixed them together to kind of get, again, a somewhat like mottled look. And then this ribbon I put on with a pin. I just kind of stuck it in because I wasn't sure how I felt about it. So until I'm like 100% I want that ribbon on there, it's just gonna stay on like that. And then I finished it in a weird way. I don't know why I finished it like this. I've done pillows before, I've never finished them like this. I basically made a pillow cover. Like I don't know. So the pillow's in there. And then this is just like a pillow cover. I think my first thought process was, do I really want to make this into a pillow? I don't know. And I kept going back and forth, like, do I want to frame it? This is probably my favorite stitch I've ever done in my entire stitching in 2 years. It's almost 2 years. So it's my favorite one I've ever done. So I was really indecisive about how I wanted to finish it. And I figured, okay, maybe if I make it into a pillow cover, if I don't like it, I can just take the pillow out and I could then use it in a different way or finish it in a different way, which now doesn't really make a ton of sense. But in the moment, when I was finishing this at like 9 o'clock, it made the world of sense. So that's why I did it this way. But I love this. This was like a table runner that I got at a garage sale. It's like that ticking, which I just think is so country, which I feel like goes with like the chickens and the whole feel of this. This is on 18 count white Aida. I coffee and tea dyed this and it didn't work. So it was supposed to be kind of, you know, like a tan color. And it didn't work. Like, I don't know. I put it in coffee for like a day and then I let it dry and then I washed it, which might be the problem. I don't know if you're supposed to wash it or not, but it stunk like coffee. So I washed it. Not that coffee stinks, but you know what I mean. So I washed it and then it all came out. So then I was like, okay, I'll tea dye it. I put tea on it, which I have accidentally dropped tea onto my stitching before and I cannot get it out. But when I purposely put tea on it, it just like came right out. I don't know what I did wrong. It's so weird. It is slightly tinted. It's like a dirtier white than it was. But yeah, so totally unintentional, but I'm totally okay with it because I kind of love how crisp it looks. So yeah, I'm not mad about it. And it allowed me to not stitch the stripes in the flag, which I realize is like probably 60 stitches, but you know, every stitch counts, matters. So then didn't even realize that my next finish, I started the same night. Didn't realize it was also chicken theme. So on with my patriotic chicken obsession. This is, oh, and I'm sure you all know this, but this is Peck by Plum Street Samplers. That's that. And then this is, I believe it's called Liberty, Stitching with the Housewives. Did it in a pillow finish, again with the same like ticking. I made this bigger than I realized it was going to be, but again, I'm not upset about it. I feel like I get so nervous about finishing and then I've never had one like flap completely. Knock on all the wood. So that's that finish. And again, yeah, so most of this is called for, and I used that ticking again to finish it. Some rickrack I got at a garage sale. I tell you what, all the finishing stuff, go to the garage sales, go to the thrift stores. It's the best place. And then I did the more traditional, like split the back open, fill it up, and then I just put like a little patch over it. And then same with the other one, I just pinned the bow until I am 100% sure that I like it. I'm a very plain Jane, so even though this isn't like a Priscilla finish, I'm still like, I don't know. But I put a little hook on this for whatever reason, even though it's probably just gonna sit here in my somewhat dough bowl. I found this in my basement. I got it from Joann's, I believe Joann's or Michael's years and years and years ago, and I used it for my floral design business, and kind of forgot it was down there. So then I've been searching for dough bowls for like a year, found this one. I was like, actually this is fine, like I'll just use this. So this is gonna be my dough bowl, which I love that idea. I don't know who came up with that idea. I'm sure it's been around forever and ever, but for someone who lives in a smaller house with not a ton of wall space, and if you can see, the wall space is saved for my plants. I love this option for being able to display my stitches, because I don't want to make less, and you work so hard on it, you want it to be displayed, so it's just the perfect situation. Okay, so now I'm going to start with my WIPs. This is my current WIP, and I had already filmed this clip, which is why it's all taken apart. It was in this hoops, it was in this stand so beautifully, just like in my stand. So I could show you how I've been stitching lately. So it was kind of in here like this, and I was showing it like that. The clip just disappeared. I swear, me and technology, we're not friends. So I thrifted this stand like probably a year ago from Goodwill. I have no idea the brand. All I know is that I got it for $5, and it's got, you know, it kind of goes up and down here. This rotates, this obviously opens to get your hoop in there. Just haven't used it for a really long time. I've been using Q-snaps, and a Q-snap does not fit in here. So I kind of stopped using my stand, started using Q-snaps, loved Q-snaps, don't love them anymore. Mine were just wearing out so fast, like faster than I wanted to buy them. They would either, the plastic clamps would like crack, and then they're not tight at all to hold your fabric, or they would just get kind of like stretched out from overuse, and it just seemed like I was constantly buying new ones, and that initial like clamp, like the first time, was so good that I was like convinced Q-snaps were my everything. And then yeah, it just didn't seem long until they would stretch out and I couldn't use them anymore. So kind of went back to hoops, which I don't love holding hoops, hence the stand. But I've been using like a traditional hoop. I've got one Morgan hoop, and I've got these like old vintage, I don't know if you call them Morgan hoops, but they're like the vintage spring loaded ones, and those hold really well. So I've kind of been doing a combination of those. So that's that. But this is my current WIP. This is Stitching with the Housewives. I think I don't have the name of this as well, because I just take the PDF and just screenshot the PDF. So I'm gonna call it Land of the Free by Stitching with the Housewives. I know that it's a tiered tray tidbit. It's in that series. And I'm almost done. I'm making 2 changes. Most of these are called for or really, really close to. It only called for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors, 6 colors. So not very many. So the only changes I made is, if you look at that middle house, it's got black windows and a black door. And then the flagpole has a white top. I changed that all to like a gold. So it kind of looks like the lights are on, and then you can kind of see the gold top on the flag. I just was looking at it and I just felt like the house looked like I had missed stitches, like I just didn't do them because it's Black Ada and you just don't stitch that area. But to me, looking at it, I was like, okay, it looks off. So I thought, again, 100% my opinion, I thought if I just made it look like the lights were on or something. So I like it. I like how it looks. And then this has a top and bottom border. I am notorious for ditching the borders at the end of a project. I did it on my last Liz Matthews project, and I'm gonna do it to this one. I'm only gonna stitch the top one, not this bottom one. I feel like the grass lends itself to like a nice little delicate border. So once I finish this, I'm probably gonna turn it into a pillow as well and put it in my dough ball. And then keep on with the patriotic stitching. I'm really, really obsessed with the patriotic stitching right now. And I'm loving I made a scissor fob the other day. Totally made it up. I don't know if this is the right way to do it, but made this patriotic vibes. So I'm like, okay, I want to match the bag to the fob to my pattern. I'm just really digging into this seasonal stitching. I'm obsessed. So my next one is in a bag made by me. It's just little stars and stripes. And this one I had kitted up. I didn't know when I was going to start it, and then I watched Beck Stitches Everything and Megan the Seattle Stitcher stitching this, and I think there might be one other person stitching this, and I was like, okay, I guess I have to start it. So this is the one I'm stitching now. And I tell you what, am I gonna remember the name? I think it's called like oh gosh, what is it called? Mollie's Winter House, or it's a Pinker and Punkin design. If you do not know Pinker and Punkin, I'm sure you do, but if you don't, for shame, and go look her up right this minute. Okay, I found it. It's called Mollie Williams Homestead. And it is just so cute. She has so many on here. I also think this one's cute. This one is called The Star Spangled Winter Home. I think I got the two. I like combined the names. This one is also so cute. Yeah, there's like a lot on here that I could stitch. And I 100% second what Megan and Beck Stitches Everything. I'm assuming her name is Becca. I need to go back and watch her intro. But they were like, we would pay for these patterns. And I 100% agree. These are like far too good to just give away for free. This one is also adorable. And this one is what has given me a little bit of inspiration to change my pattern slightly. So here I am. This is my progress. I loved that quilt stand in this one. You can see it by the tree. I loved that, and I love certain elements from this. I don't think I'm gonna stitch more than one patriotic salt box house though. I mean, I can't say that for sure, but I take these and I turn them into like calendars. So this would be July's. So down here somewhere it'll say July. And if I can go back to this picture, I'm thinking I will do, where is it at? Where is it at? Here it is. Okay. So if if you look on here, there's like a fence and some flowers. I think I will do the fence. I like the bees. I don't like this giant bee up here in the corner, so I will not put that in. Love the giant flag over here on the top. So I'm gonna be stitching that and the fence. I don't think I will stitch the cat. And then where the flowers are, that will say July. If you've watched my other videos, I've done August, September, October, and now I'm doing July. I went like August, September, October, I like bam, 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 doing all these salt box houses, and I got totally burnt out. So then I stopped for a while, and then I was like, well, eventually I want to do all of the months. So then I popped back into it when I saw this one. So that's where I'm at. I am totally all over the place with the called for. I'm using, you know, what I had called for, what I did have that was called for, and then whatever else kind of works. But it's like a really beautiful mix of colors, I think. I love this, like, the blue I'm using is 926, and I think that's gonna fill in all these little like quilt stars, sawtooth, or whatever they're called, sawtooth stars. And I think that's just gonna be like stunning. So yeah, that is another patriotic stitch. That might be my last patriotic stitch that I have in the works, but again, it's not gonna be the last. So there's that one. And then the only other WIP that I have worked on since my last video, it's in a little, this is the mini project keeper. It's the tutorial, pattern and tutorial from Tiger Lily Designs. I bought it this fall, and I made one for myself. I made one for my sister-in-law, who I have forced into cross-stitching with me, and she's 100% addicted. So I made her one, and then I made our cousin one, who, again, I am forcing to cross-stitch. I don't think she's actually started cross-stitching yet, but I made her one of these, and I filled it with goodies to entice her. And then every time I see her, I harass her until she tells me that she's gonna do it. So in my last video, I had talked about some things that I had thrifted. This was one of the patterns that I had thrifted. Actually, this was at a garage sale. I think it was in my last video. I think so. $2 I got at a garage sale. I hit the mother load at this garage sale. It was 2 tables of needlepoint, punch needle, cross stitch, yeah, patterns, kits, the works. I could have spent lots of money there, but I didn't. I just bought perforated paper, this kit, and I bought like all of the fabric they had, like all of it, because I feel like that is one thing that, you know, if it's the wrong color, you can dye it. If it's the wrong size, who cares? Just stitch over 2 or over 1, whatever. So these are the colors. I don't know. It just says, oh, Antique Rose Needlework Kit, but I don't think that's the brand. I think that's just what they're calling this. But I do not see anything in here about the brand. It's called A Wish for You, Mom. I totally wish it came with that frame, because that frame is awesome, but it didn't. And then it also came with this. I don't think this is supposed to be like a mat for it, because I can't imagine that would fit. I think it's just a hole. I don't know, but I was curious about that. But this is how far I've gotten. Not very far. Love the color of the fabric. So this is just that big white rose, white light pink rose for now. I guess it goes like this. And this is one of the vintage hoops that I have thrifted as well. It's the spring-loaded ones. They are super tight. I love them. I know Chantel from some numbers. Drawing a blank. Anyways, you know Chantel. I know she collects these because I've seen a couple of her vlogs where she finds these at antique stores. So I pay like $1 for them, but I know she's found them anywhere up to like $25. So they are sought after. So that is my last WIP. And then I have some other crafting things I wanted to show, but if you are like on here for cross stitch only, then you can peace out. Otherwise, I have a few more goodies. Okay, I gotta get a coffee break. Okay, so my few more goodies are quilting. So I don't know if I showed this in my last video, but this is like my first ever almost fully finished quilt. And it's actually a table runner, but who's really, who's counting? Who's keeping track? So, still on that patriotic theme. So here's this. And this was a free pattern from Riley Blake. And it's actually a full-size quilt, but I just like took the middle out. I just like did the middle. So I did all the measurements as if I was just doing like straight down the middle, and it actually ended up working out as a really nice table runner. I know you can't do that with every quilt, but these had like nice straight lines, so I could yeah, it's not gonna all get in frame, but I'm happy with it. So then my mother-in-law is a huge quilter, like just phenomenal quilter. And I was like, the only thing there's a lot of things I'm worried about, and I needed her help on lots of things, but the main thing was the binding. Oh, I'm going to show you up close the quilting too, because I do not have a long arm. I did not take this to the long arm. I totally just used my machine, and I did like this wavy. Can you see that? Maybe you can see it better on the blue. I did like a wavy stitch. So I found a stitch on my machine that was kind of like, it was like little waves, but then I stretched it out to like 7.5, which did kind of mess with my tension, so I had to figure that whole thing out. But once I got it figured out, it worked really well. So that was nice. It did take forever. It took like 3 days to quilt because I just got tired of sitting there going, so I'm sure on a big quilt it's gonna take me longer, but it is like a cost saving way to do it, so that's helpful. And yeah, so went to my mother-in-law's. She taught me how to do the binding. I'm doing the, you know, invisible hand binding, which I got maybe like this much done. I did like the corner this much, and I was like, nope, it's not worth it. Like, this is so hard. I had gotten like a blister my first night of stitching. I poked myself like 100 times. I was like, this is so hard. There's no way I'm gonna stop quilting, or I'm like gonna figure out a way to like not bind my quilts. And so I was like, I'm just gonna machine quilt it. It'll look fine. And I did like probably like this much machine quilt. I stitched in the ditch and I hated the way it looked compared to, you know, just seamless, like invisible stitching. I was like, there's no comparison. Like, so I was super defeated and I just like kept stitching that night, like through my tears. And it got better. It got easier. I did a little bit more research. I got a sharper a sharper needle. I just kind of kept going basically. And I got, these were the real lifesavers, 2 thimbles, one for this finger and one for this finger. I needed them both. This one to almost like pull, and then this one to like protect. So that helped 1000%. And yeah, it got better as I went. However, I did totally do a ton of research on like another way that I can do this with a machine. And I found decorative stitching where you like purposely get a contrasting color so that you can show, you know, it would be like I saw daisies, or I got a new sewing machine this year and it's just unbelievable. And so there's hundreds of stitches that I can do that would, you know, they kind of show up on the white and the binding. They go right in between the middle, and it's supposed to be visible and very decorative. And I think with the right binding, like not too busy of a binding, and probably same for your border, I think it could be really cool. I saw some examples that looked really cool. And that might be an option for me, because again, this is a table runner and I'm like, why is it so hard? So when it gets to a big quilt, if you guys are quilters and you know my struggle, please tell me it gets better, and or suck it up, Sally. It is what it is, because yeah, it is getting better, but it still stinks real bad. Okay, and then the other thing I was gonna share is went to an estate sale yesterday, and I'm actually gonna end this video and go back and buy the rest, because I got a huge bag of thread, all this fabric, and 2 punch needles. I've been wanting to try punch needle for a while. I got this little kit from Aldi, of all places, Aldi, the grocery store, a while back, just to see what it was about, because I had never done it, and I really liked it. This is with like really thick yarn, and this stuff, I mean, if you can look at it, it is small, tiny, like it's small thread. And so I was like, this is awesome. But today, I went yesterday and everything was half off, and I got all this for $4. Today is throw everything in a grocery bag, and whatever you can fit in your grocery bag is $1. So if that stuff is still there, I'm gonna go back and grab it, because she had transfers. She had some finished projects, which were precious. Like, it was a basket of strawberries. I don't know why I didn't grab it. I'm actually mad that I didn't. I actually like want to get in my car right now and go get it. She had like a vase with flowers, and it was far more delicate than this. So I might give my hand at this. If not, I have all the supplies to someday do it. But you just never know. And if you want to start a hobby, it's so expensive to start one. So if you can get it for like dollars, you know, why not? I might have a problem. Okay, anyways, have a great day. I hope to get on here again soon. Bye. This is now a few hours later. I literally got off the video, turned the video off, got in my car, ran to that estate sale, and I got this whole box of punch needle stuff. So I better like it. Otherwise, I'm just gonna have to destash all this stuff. So first I got a frame. I have no idea how to use this, so that's handy. And then just bags and bags and bags and bags of this punch needle thread. So much. But as I was digging down through the bottom, found some DMC. And it all has the label still on it, so that's amazing. I want to know where this Department 3 is. I mean, these are probably like old, but still, they got 3 threads for $1, 3 DMC for $1. Those were the days. And then I just threw a bunch of stuff in here because it really was like bundle as much stuff in like a box or a bag, and you get it for like super cheap. It wasn't $1. Somebody lied to me, but it was still totally worth it. A bag with buttons, which my 2-year-old daughter will love. Another bag of buttons. Zippers, because I mean, those things are expensive. These said embroidery needles, which I mean, they're certainly not cross-stitch needles, but they could come in handy. Some elastic, a nice wooden hoop. This is like an envelope of the transfers, which I'll have to look and see if these are like, they look like they're iron-on. Oh, it's the strawberries. Yeah, so there's a whole, I mean, come on. So cute. I didn't even look through these because I was literally like just grabbing and, oh, this is interesting. Oh, I got a cowboy in my life. I do not. Another little bouquet. More strawberries. See, I wanted to do a strawberry stitch, cross stitch with the whole strawberry sale from Marjorie Made. But maybe if I can't find one, maybe I'll just do a punch needle or both. Let's do all the things. Okay, but then I just grabbed, you know, all the fabric that they had left. But then these were, you know, I just assume that at an estate sale, somebody's grandma passed away. They're selling the house. That's just kind of where you go. Maybe she's in a nursing home. I don't know. But either way, save the stitches, right? This is precious. So cute. And it made me so sad. It was like in the basement. It smells terrible. So terrible. But she spent a lot of time on these. This one is not as cute. It's still adorable, but I'm obsessed with this strawberry one. Like, that is to die for. But see what I mean? Like how, like, delicate it is? I don't know. But I did just watch Sweetwater Stitcher's last video, and she started punch needling, and she called it like a palette cleanser. And I was like, yes, I can totally see that. It's like, it's in the same family. You're using thread, you're using a needle-ish type thing. You know, you're making art. I can see that it's the same, but it's different. It gives you like a different thing to do with your hands, which I love all of the projects that you can do with your hands. I I just do. Another thing that I can do on the couch, along with binding my quilt. All right, that is everything. I just had to update you on that because I was literally like jumping out of my chair thinking about going to this estate sale. So I had to share it with you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.